Without the fruit of the Spirit, the gifts of the Spirit don't mean anything. The Bible tells us in Romans chapter 11 verse 29 that the gifts and calling of God are without repentance. In other words, once God gives you the gift, He doesn't withdraw it. But let's assume God has given you a gift, spiritual gift, and you have backslidden. That spiritual gift remains. The only problem is that it will be abused because God is no longer in charge. And so we go to Galatians chapter 5 and we see what the Bible tells us from verse 16. I say then, walk in the Spirit and shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts or has a desire against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. Walk in the Spirit, and you will not fulfill the lust of flesh. You see, the flesh has its desire. The old sinful nature desires to be known. It desires faith. It desires so many things. But when you walk in the Spirit, when you allow the Spirit of God to lead and guide you and direct you, then the Spirit of God will lead you in a direction that your flesh does not like. And so it says there's going to be this quarrel. But if you have submitted your life to the Spirit of God, then it will be easy. Look at verse 24 of Galatians 5. It says, and those who are Christ's have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. When you come to Christ, those things are destroyed. They are crushed. And as long as we submit ourselves to Christ, they are crushed. And so we can see in verse 19, it talks about the works of the flesh. It says the works of the flesh, they are evident. What are they? Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness. Imagine somebody who is speaking in tongues and yes, is an adulterer. Speaking in tongues and is a fornicator. Speaking in tongues and is a homosexual. Speaking in tongues and is dressing lewdly. Engaging in idolatry, sorcery, hatred, contentions, revelries, and such like. Ambitions, kinds of things that we see. It says, by the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against so there's no law. In verse 25 it says, if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. So we can be speaking of tongues or even spiritual gifts for that matter, if the fruit of the Spirit is not in us. That is why God spoke of the Spirit of God coming into us to cleanse us, to sanctify us, and then coming upon us so that we can do the work of God. An unsanctified vessel that has the gift of the Spirit of God is going to corrupt the gift because the vessel is corrupt. If you pour clean water in a dirty cup, the clean water will become dirty because the cup is dirty. So if you want to drink clean water, what do? You must clean the cup. So the cleaning of the cup, the vessel that is clean, is like a sanctified man. It's like a man that has the manifestation of the fruit of the Spirit. Then when you pour the water, the gift of the Spirit into that cup, which is clean, then you have the manifestation of the Spirit clean, not corrupted.